A lot of people in Russia are also victims of the Putin's regime. It's not his country, it's our country.
We have homemade bombs, anything we can get our hands on.
We disassemble railways. We need to create a partisan organization because in Russia the state operation is very hard.
If we won't take those risks now, we won't have future at all.
If not we, then who? If not now, then when?
So that's the coordinates they sent us. So right now we're somewhere on the edge of Eastern Europe in the middle of the night, heading into a forest to meet with anti-government Russian partisans. Now they've been launching attacks inside Russia. They've been attacking military recruitment centers and blowing up railway tracks, trying to disrupt Putin's continued invasion of Ukraine. They're taking a risk meeting us, but they want the world to know that there's actually a large-scale active resistance inside Russia, even though you don't hear about it. These two are members of the anarcho-communist combat organization, more commonly known by their Russian abbreviation, BOAK. BOAK are anti-government Russian partisans. They've been attacking the state for more than 5 years. They're by no means the only partisan group in Russia, but they're definitely one of the most organized. When Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, Russian partisans quietly stepped things up a gear. They launched dozens of effective sabotage operations against Kremlin infrastructure. BOAK are part of this network, which consists of around 30 different cells. These cells have varying diverse political ideologies, but are all united in their goal of destroying Putin. Partisan attacks have been taking place all across the country, from Moscow in the west to Vladivostok in the far east. In the past 12 months, there have been over 80 anti-government attacks inside Russia. BOAK have been the spearhead for many of them.
Just a moment. It sounds like... Okay.
Can you explain the actions? Like, what are the main things you've been doing to disrupt Putin's invasion?
We disassembled railways, which leads to the artillery warehouse in the Moscow region. It delayed supplies of this kind of military cargo to the front, so it gave to the Ukrainian people more time to prepare for the counterattacking Russia. Yeah. We see that we need to create a partisan organization because in Russia the state operation is very hard, so you can't use some legal methods to do some step-by-step changes. Even if you do some so-called legal actions, anyway you'll go to the jail. So if you go to jail, well, to do some which is not so effective. We are attacking the state at this time to make it weaker.
To show people that we can do it. We as people
of Russia, people of all of the world, we have this power in our hands, and
it is possible.
Yeah, them, the state, they are small, and we are. There's a lot of us. And the second direction which we are developed since then is a coordination of such kind of attack, partisan attacks, all over Russia. Recently we published, I think, maybe even more than 10 attacks from many different regions. We help small partisan cells to find out how to make attacks, help them with supplies, to help such small partisan groups. And it's working because more and more
It's increasing.
it's increasing, yeah. And they making more and more serious attacks. For example, not a long time ago, they bombed some kind of military military railroad near the Ukrainian border. So our power is not in that one small group can do, but that we have a lot of small groups, and all together we can change things.
So you guys have been around before the Ukraine war started, or at least since the invasion started this year. But that's when you've got a lot more known, I think, online. We're seeing that you guys are actually doing attacks inside Russia and in Belarus. Very dangerous thing to do. What is it that, spurred you guys on? Why are you doing this? Why are you taking such a risk to basically attack Putin in his own country?
Because it's not his country, it's our country. And we are taking this because this is the only way we see we can act in such circumstances. Because we can't do nothing, we can't do legal things, and these partisan attacks can make military machine of Russian state. We cut the supply lines, we attack the military recruitment centers, so the army becomes weaker, and as it was very often in Russia and many other states' history, when the state lose war, there is the window of possibilities opens for the people of this country.
And in terms of solidarity with Ukraine, are you doing this to help the Ukrainians as well, or just for yourselves? Are you in contact with Ukrainians, or is this just like a movement you guys are doing yourselves?
Of course, we had contacts. We can't, of course, say what exactly contacts. Yes, but yes, we have contacts with different and not only anarchist organization in all ex-USSR and
other countries as well.
Also, yeah, and we discuss our strategies, and we somehow organize our actions together to make them more effective.
As well, we try to provide information for those other groups which don't yet know how to do things and don't yet have funds enough for supplies, because even gasoline costs money and they don't have money. And as well, near the start of war, our group organized a few attacks, like on a mobile tower, cell towers near Ukraine border.
As we've seen from the Telegram channels, the kind of underground, there's definitely a lot of attacks, as you've said, as you've been doing. How big is your organization? Because it's hard to tell. How prevalent are these attacks inside Russia?
So there is about 2 or 3 thousands affinity groups, and everyone has a different number of members. And what about geography? As you know, partisans acts from the Kaliningrad, the far west of Russia, to the Vladivostok, which is far east of Russia, and
Almost over Russia,
yeah, almost in every big city and even in small ones.
Specifically being anarchists, but being partisans is extremely, extremely dangerous inside Russia. You're taking a massive risk doing this kind of stuff. Some people are going to see this and go like, why? Why would you take that risk?
If we won't take those risks now, we won't have future at all.
Are you not worried? You're not scared of getting caught?
Of course we are. We're not stupid enough to not be.
But it's much more scary to know that you had chance to change something and you didn't. And see as these who are in power killing our people, killing people of Ukraine, and making the world worse and worse with every day, with dangers of nuclear war and so on. We just can't, because if we do it now, maybe we will not have the future at all, not only in Russia but all over the world.
People on the internet, they'll see what you guys are doing and they say, oh, you guys are CIA operatives and stuff like this, particularly like Westerners that actually support Putin. Now, you know what it's like living there under Putin. You know, how would you address that? What would you say to those kind of accusations?
I think if we would be CIA, we would act more effectively, but we act with those forces, with those resources which we have. We're trying to increase them, but we understand that it's time, it's a process from zero partisan attacks to the full partisan war. So if we were CIA, we had a lot, we would have a lot more resources now.
Yeah, we have homemade bombs or anything we can get our hands on. So not material.
Or even speaking about resources which we used when we disassembled railways, we used simple instruments which we could be bought in
Hardware store.
hardware store.
We are showing people that they can just go to the store and buy those tools and do that themselves. It's not just, you know, us doing some stuff with some specific materials you can only get in the dark net.
Right. How do you get the information? Like, how do you know which railway to blow up? Which cargo train is going to have what's needed to stop?
For our attacks, we used Wikimapia. It's Wikimapia.org service which provides
Description for each object
on the map, and everyone can contribute to it. So you just open it and you find, okay, military object is here, it's doing something like that, there is its photos, and people who did it, they didn't do it for us, they just did it because
you want to share this information.
And you just can take it and use it.
So the internet is really helping you guys?
Of course. But of course, we need to...
a lot of scouting.
Yeah.
Scouting?
Yeah.
Like you check out the place?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Many times before the attack.
Sounds really well organized.
We do it for a lot of years.
I know that anarchists specifically in Russia have been tortured quite a lot if they're captured for anything. What do you think would happen to you guys if you got caught?
For sure, we're gonna be tortured as well.
If we will if we will live enough, because we are not planning to
get caught empty-handed.
Yeah, because it's better than be tortured and maybe give some information. We don't give any information on our comrades, and when you are tortured, it's hard to say when you would or would not you break.
You never know how you react to torture.
So it's better to prevent this by dying fighting.
Does that mean do you have firearms?
If you want to do a revolution, you can do it without firearms.
If we even won't have any firearms on us at the right moment,
knives.
Anything we'll find, because it's all better than to be
in Russian prison.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance someone in the Russian state is probably going to see this documentary, and other people are going to ask, like, why are you doing this? Why are you giving us the interview? Why do you want this information to get out there?
We think that it's important that people see us not as some internet warriors, but also as live person with their concerns, with their. We want people to hear our voices and to hear what we have to say.
We don't want people to think that we are some shady organization, but we want them to see that we are real people just like them.
Yeah.
And just like us, they can do things that we do.
A lot of it is online, but there's definitely a perception that all Russians agree with the invasion, the destruction of Ukraine, what Putin wants to do. Obviously, people like you very clearly, a small but effective resistance against Putin's policies. What do you think about that? How would you respond to that? Is it in the country? Are more people against it than it would seem, or what?
There are a lot more people against it than it seems, because propaganda shows only people who agree with Putin, and many people don't agree, and many people just silent because they're afraid to lose their jobs.
If you will beat a dog every day, then some day it will not react to it because it will think that I live like that, it's normal. Normal. So as we see, a lot of people in Russia are also victims of the Putin's regime.
At the moment, they just don't think that if they speak up, they'll change anything. I think our main message is that people shouldn't just sit and wait that someone else is gonna do anything for them. They should take their lives in their own hands.
As we often repeat, if not we, then who? If not now, then when?
Thank you very much.
In Russia,
Yeah, it's
it's
sign of disrespect if you don't take off your glove when you
Shake someone's hand.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
well, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with everything.
It's very good to
Thank
talk
you.
to
Thank you so much.
As Russia's war on Ukraine approaches its 12th month, Russian partisans like the ones we spoke to are continuing to disrupt Putin's war effort from within. Organisations like BOAK are fighting an uphill battle, but still, their attacks have been effective. Several military trains are being derailed, and word of the partisan underground is spreading. Whilst there's next to no Russian state media coverage on this, the Russian government is clearly aware of it. Security around train tracks in Russia has been tightened, and a Russian court has fined the Telegram app for allowing partisan networks to share information. Not to mention the uptick in unexplained fires breaking out across the country. Even though Putin's government acts like they can't see them, they know the partisans are there.